Hello guys, this is Gong again, and today I want to talk about this common issues with some disciples in the lineage trying to deal with spiritual cases, but they somehow like went blind battle mode. Okay, so this is very important because you cannot be dealing with spiritual cases and just like, oh, I'll give out more attack, okay, like keep pulling the trigger, and you don't even know what it is that you're facing, and that's a big problem. So today I'm going to talk about how to systematically deal and diagnose your spiritual issue. And of course, if you are not having enough knowledge, you will run into problems like you don't know what's actually happening. And well, it's not because the magic that you're doing is sucky. It's because you don't know and you don't have enough knowledge. Like if you're a doctor, you don't understand how the human body works, then that will be a problem when you try to diagnose the whole situation. The whole situation just don't really make sense to you, right? So on your normal days, you should always be learning more and more from me while I teach on the Line app and such. So if you don't understand, when you go through experience, ask questions and things like that, you will grow up with the knowledge, right? And the more you face these problems, the more you learn, the more experience you gain, and the better you get. And of course, it's always okay to have me do a real diagnosis for you so that I can check up for you for real. And so you will learn by reading my diagnosis report as well. Okay, so let's get into the meat today, okay, about how to systematically diagnose a spiritual problem. Basically, it's very alike with the Chinese medicine theory. We also go with the four main stages, Mong, Man, Qi, okay? Four things, and it's actually very, very specific, okay, right here. Mong, it's a metaphor, like when you see, okay, which is to absorb the light. What do I mean by light here? It's not like light as in the sunlight, these kind of light, okay, at the back. No, light is anything that is already completed and you can see it. Something that is already done, the stuff, okay? So it's like you have a spiritual problem. For example, you felt something and, like last night, I got paralyzed on the bed and I cannot move, etc. Okay, so all the physical factors that already happened already, okay? Like a recording of what the logging of the event, okay? So put that, lay that out, okay? It's like when clients come to me, they explain to me what their situation is right now, what they are facing. It's like a report of what happened, okay? That's the light. So you cannot change it. It happened already, okay? So all these things you must first record down in specific form. Usually when my client come to me, I ask them, what's most bothering you? What's the most biggest concern right now with you? What's causing the biggest issue? And what actually happened? So they will say, last week we went to here and then we sent something and they keep telling your story, right? Good, okay? At this moment, you have to ignore all the feelings, okay? Light means all the facts and history. You don't put any feeling of whatever this person is feeling, okay? It's like when you read these report by the client, usually they will add a little bit of this and that in here and there when they're telling the story because they are adding in their own feeling inside the story. It's like, last night I felt this, and then they will say, a ghost shook my hand, and then the ghost choked my, hey, how do you know that it's the ghost, right? You don't know. So the fact is, you have this feeling of suffocation, you have the feeling of the hand moving, that's it, okay? The ghost is what they think is the ghost, right? So that's something not related to the light, that is their feeling. So when you record your own stuff, you only deal with the facts, what actually happened, okay? So last night, I went to sleep and I got this disturbance, okay, and then I cannot move. That's the fact, okay? You don't put any labels on what's causing it. You don't draw conclusion, okay? You don't say, oh, it's a spirit, it's a whatever. You see a spirit in front of you, okay? That's what you see, it's fact. But you don't have to label it what that is. It can be illusion, it can be a dream, okay? It doesn't matter, right? Right now, you just record. I see a fox kind of face in front of me. Okay, that's fact, okay? It happened. A fox kind of face, okay? That's fact. You don't put a label to say what that is, right? Okay, good. The first thing is having all these things laid out, okay? All the facts. Now, the second thing is man, okay? First is like you see, okay? Everything you see, you cannot be biased, right? So ignore all the feelings, okay? You see, it's fact, history, point, all that stuff. Now, we're the opposite, okay? Second is to collect the wind. What is the wind? Well, the wind is man. When we hear or smell things that is invisible, okay? Invisible factor, things that are like wind that pushes the facts around, okay? It's like when you, a cop record some kind of incident. Oh, there's a person jump off the roof and then there's blood here, okay, all the photos sticking. Okay, now it's time to ask different people what you see happen, and then they will like give in their own version of the story. Now you ask 10 people come up with different versions of their story, how they think and stuff like that, right? Okay, same thing here. When it's come to the second stage, now what do you think it happened? And you have to collect the wind, okay? And that doesn't mean what you think only. It also means to collect the spiritual factor, which involve you going into the place or the situation. Like when I do my soul traveling diagnosis, you go into the spiritual side of things with your ability, and then you see and you observe and you hear and you listen and you feel and you deal with all the spiritual factor, okay? Now, sometimes only relying on the spiritual factor will lead you to a lot of misunderstanding because you are lacking real knowledge. It's like, okay, now you have a dream, and the dream, okay, gives you a lot of different visuals, audios, all that stuff. You can't just take the dream and take it as is, okay? The dream is a reflection of some kind of energy flow, and you need to be able to decode the dream, right? There's got to be some knowledge. Now, in this stage number 2, what we do is usually in the normal diagnosis, okay? After we look at that, we go to the soul traveling part, okay? And if, like normal disciples, if you don't know how to do that yet, of course, you will be relying on things like, okay, what you actually felt, okay? Things that cannot be seen but can be felt, what you think mostly happened. According to history of last week, I went to this people, and okay, so there's a chance of, because I went to here, I pick up this crap, okay? Because I went to here, I got polluted, or someone called me, maybe it's him, okay? All the possibilities, you list them out, okay? You don't know which one is real yet, so there goes stage 3. Number 3 is when we are at the stage of man, to ask, okay? Ask. What is ask? Asking. You want answers, okay? Man, cheat, right? The third thing is asking for answers. Now, you have so many suspected routes, okay? Maybe this person caused the problem. Maybe that person caused the problem. Maybe it's myself. Maybe I went to this website and got polluted. Maybe I got here, okay? Which one is the thing that caused the problem? You don't know, right? There are so many possibilities. Even I go and do a soul traveling diagnosis, I can see many things in that world. I can see your Yun San. I can see your soul energy, your everything. Okay? But what problem? Is it really what like I'm seeing? Is it really the case? I need to double check, right? Ask for answers. Where can you do that? Well, in magic, seriously, okay, you cannot just go to the person and ask, hey, did you curse me? Right? That's impossible. So doing a spiritual diagnosis, we make use of the powerful altar. Ta-da! Okay? So the powerful altar hooks you up with the higher powers in the lineage, and it will be able to help you to trace different roots and see which one have the biggest possibility linking with the case. So in this case, we use all kinds of divination methods, such as the cups, okay, the moon cups, the coins and whatever, okay, all kinds of ways, different ways to do the divination. And divination purpose is mainly like this. You're walking, okay, and you see a hole. You don't know if the hole is like very deep or not very deep. Okay, so you take a rock and you drop it in, and then you hear the sound to estimate how deep it is. And maybe there are like 5 holes in front of you. You drop a stone into each of them and you hear the echo. So you can estimate which one is the deepest, right? Okay, so basically now you know which hole is the safest to jump into, right? So basically divination is like that. You have so many possibilities. It's now time to check which one is the most possible root, okay, most possible thing that is causing the issue, that is actually the problem. Now, you found that last or maybe 2 most possible factor, right? Okay, good. Now the 4th stage, cheat. Cheat, like give it a chop, okay? A chop, like with a knife, cheat, like this. Why we call this cheat? Cheat, actually, most people in Chinese medicine think cheat is like when you put the finger here and hear the pulse. That is wrong, okay? Because that is not the cheat. Cheat, this word itself means to cut. Cut, then things will detach, meaning that you cut and draw a conclusion. You want to cut and categorize, like split, okay? Now you have to split up. After all the 3 stages, okay, split. These are the stuff that is most likely the case, okay? And then you cut again. Now, eliminate these. We are down to this. Cut again. We are down to this. And then, that's the conclusion, right? So you cut, and categorize, okay? First, all these things are not real, okay? Okay, good. Now, again, this is not good. This doesn't make sense. Now you're down to this, okay? Basically, you see, you cut, and after cutting everything away with your knife of wisdom, you will get it. You will get the answer. And now you deal with the problem with the right method that is supposed to deal with it. Okay, so yeah, you don't just basically you don't just blindly, you know, feel something and then you think, oh, it's some spiritual crap hurting you, pushing your hand around, you know. All these are your own interpretation. It can be not. It can be your energy body just acting up and you just have issues with the energy flow and it jerks your hand around, okay? But you think that is a spirit, you create the own crap for yourself and you get into mental illness. You get into like what we call 精神病, like cycle, right? Because you think, right? You believe this is a ghost hurting you. You believe this is a demon. You believe you create that demon yourself. And then what? This special character that you create in your mind is going to gather up all these negative energy and it's going to stick to you forever. Because you invent this monster for yourself. You invented the demon for yourself. And that's the problem with most people trying to deal with this spiritual case. They make up a lie to blame it on the thing. because they don't know. They don't have the wisdom to explain. Now, in our lineage, when you learn, right, you learn a lot about how our energy body works and how our life is like structured, okay, the yun san, the soul, the body, etc., right? Lots of theories that tells you how things are supposed to be flowing. And with all these things, you can really explain all the situation, the spiritual issues that you'll be encountering. Because these are like understanding about the anatomy of your body, and then you'll be able to judge what this symptom and everything is telling you, like what kind of medicine you need, right? You don't just keep plugging in Advil, Tylenol, and then vitamin C and antibiotics. You know, you don't do that, right? Here we are professional in this thing, so we have wisdom to really look at problems and see what's the problem and give the right kind of solution. For example, you can have a case that looks like it's a spiritual attack, but it is actually not. It is a kind of yip, okay, some kind of clogging, non-circulating clogging energy in your system. And that will also build up similar symptoms. Okay, if that's the case, the whole situation is different. If you're being attacked by spirits, you need to really fight the spirit, kill it. Okay, now on the second hand, when you like on the other side, sorry, if you are having this yip, the clog energy issue, it's time to do something to get rid of that clogging issue, to unclog stuff. The stuff that you'll be doing is totally not the same, right? So you cannot really just always look at one thing and think that it is like that, and you just bang, okay, slam a hammer on it. Exorcism, yeah, okay? It's not always that. Sometimes it's something different. You can't just always think, oh, this is some evil spirit attacking, okay? Or else you get yourself crazy. So basically, that's the 4 basic stages to diagnose a spiritual problem. So remember, learn more in the lineage, right? Always seek for more and more and more knowledge inside the lineage. Learn on the line, chat room and such, okay? Talk and you will get these stuff inherited to you. And basically, you need a lot of wisdom to be able to pin down these spiritual problems. Just like a doctor, you need a lot of knowledge in order to pin down the problem and solve these health problems for your client. For us, we are professional spiritual doctors. Okay, so we have to have a lot of knowledge and experience in order to qualify to help yourself or other people to diagnose. And we don't just blindly like, oh, let me throw you some prayers, let me throw you some blessing, okay? That kind of crap. That is bullshit, okay? It's like, everything, it will be fine, I just pray for you, okay? It doesn't work like that. The world is not that easy, okay? Only scams is like that easy, okay? This is like real world, guys, okay? Even a spiritual problem can fall into many different situations, and it can be very complex. If you don't do these things to get your problem sorted out and find out the cause, you're never going to solve the problem. Okay, so at the end, also a warning to people who are new to the lineage and still don't understand the problem and the danger behind finding people like some psychics and stuff who rely only on their instinct, their intuition, their voices, their whatever guidance, okay, telling them about what's happening. Because this is like, okay, you ignore everything, okay, ignore the facts, and you just listen to something invisible. Wow, that's like you just got a dream, a feeling, and ta-da, that's the solution, okay? Hey, that's crazy, okay? You need knowledge. In this world, if you don't have knowledge, you're big fucked. Because knowledge is what helps you to determine things is real or not, right? Knowledge and experience. So you can't really just rely on some kind of feeling, intuition, something invisible for everything, okay? Just like I said, 望聞問切, Okay, you see the physical stuff, the facts, the history, and then you get the invisible stuff, and then you have to test them, and then cut and draw conclusion. There's a lot of things here circulating in this system. Okay, so remember, be a wise and legit, okay, spiritual doctor for yourself. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.